Wait, hold the fuck on. The last Saw movie was 7 years ago? No. That can't be, because I distinctly remember Saw 3D being a brand new thing just a moment ago, and oh God. Where did life go? So the Saw franchise is an odd thing because, like, however well made a surprisingly solid number of installments in the series were, the first one, for the record, totally holds up still, just a great horror flick, it's always been universally understood that the main reason that these things were the annual Halloween event movie for a little over half a decade was because people were mainly showing up for the handful of guaranteed, super elaborate, ultra nasty death scenes. But the people behind the franchise consistently put a shit ton of work into also paying off stuff for the minority of genuine hardcore fans who actually paid attention and took the series seriously. Film-to-film continuity was studiously maintained, the same actors kept coming back, loose threads paid off, recurring characters had real, if completely bonkers, arcs across multiple installments. Hell, didn't one of the sequels even decide to retroactively make the whole thing actually about healthcare policy or something? I mean, I never loved the Saw franchise, but I always respected it. So Jigsaw is a sequel, reboot, whatever to the whole thing, which, if you're unfamiliar or just forgot, is about an overly philosophical serial killer called Jigsaw, whose thing is locking victims into elaborate death traps where escape is technically always possible if you're willing to endure some kind of intense physical and or psychological pain that symbolizes whatever Jigsaw has deemed to be your major character flaw. Technically, Jigsaw himself has been dead ever since Saw 3, but the persona lived on thanks to his disciples, meticulous pre-planning, and the movie magic of flashback structures. And this new film, now just called Jigsaw, is basically more of that. Yeah, ultimately the most surprising thing about this reboot is that it mostly really is just Saw 8, picking up right where the last one left off, save for taking place a decade later and thus featuring a whole new cast of characters. But otherwise, yeah, you got a bunch of victims trapped in a barn somewhere that's been tricked out with jigsaw torture traps themed after their presumed transgressions, a group of maybe not corrupt cops trying to piece together clues as to who's taken up the Jigsaw identity, some narrative gamesmanship about what order various events are taking place in, and a big twist that feels less and less big the more of it they try to explain. The film comes courtesy of the Spierig brothers directing team who did Daybreakers back in 2009. That was a really good vampire movie that you probably didn't see, but you should have. Is it good? Yeah, it's pretty good. Like I said, while really only the original Saw was a home run, the franchise has a really good on-base percentage otherwise, and this one more or less goes in the win column. The new traps are a welcome back-to-basics approach after the last few sequels got a little too over-the-top and elaborate with it, and we also get a nice tease for a more sci-fi-esque evolution of the concept if they decide to make more of these, which clearly seems to be the plan. The central mystery plays fair until it doesn't, and the film never overstays its welcome. Now, there is more I could say about whether or not the actual twist this time works or not, but it'd be a spoiler, and I'm not even sure it's necessary. Without giving anything away, I will say that it does feel like kind of a cheat, and that's a bummer because the rest of the film plays fair, and it also feels unnecessarily in terms of the world building. More than anything, it feels like they just wanted to pick things up from where they already left off, but since it had been so long that the rest of the cast had moved on, they needed to shake the Etch-a-Sketch again to introduce new faces. Structurally necessary, maybe. Narratively necessary, kinda less so. But I can't call it a bad movie, and I definitely can't call it a bad Saw movie. 2.5 stars, happy Halloween.